evening, everyone. This is Mitch with SC Weather. I hope y'all been having a good day. I'm sorry I'm a little late with my video today. I might try to adjust the timing of my videos. I've just been trying to spend a little bit more time with my family, it being Christmas time, and I'm trying to not get too consumed by this. I love talking weather with you guys, but family definitely comes first. But it's definitely some things to talk about in this video. Before we get going, if you haven't subscribed, follow along. I'm very active. I stay very up to date with you guys, and I talk weather along the East Coast. Give the video a like if you like it. Share it. This is going to be a very important video because we're going to talk about the potential for a tornado threat and a strong wind threat here in the Carolinas, and not just the Carolinas, but Georgia, maybe parts of Virginia too. And we're going to get deep into this because this is going to be a big time plan disruptor here. I don't know. This might turn out to be a little bit of a big time event, if that makes any sense. A little bit more of a more increased risk of severe weather than maybe the last few severe weather events. Tornado risk is definitely increasing, and that is due to the trend of more CAPE, which is storm fuel, that's beginning to show up on short-range models. I told you guys once we got into short-range models, we're going to be able to see a lot more here, and we are, and it's looking like, unfortunately, there's going to be a little bit more CAPE than we wanted, which is going to enhance the tornado threat and make the probability for more spin-ups and this line of storms that's going to form and these clusters of storms that I think are going to end up forming ahead of the main line. So here we go. National Weather Service, for Christmas Eve into Christmas, it's got a marginal threat deep back into the Carolinas, almost all the way back to Columbia, almost all the way back to Charlotte. Raleigh area is hit, and then you have a huge area of a slight. I know this, when I say huge, it's not massive like you see in the Midwest in the spring and summertime, but it is definitely a large area, which makes me think there's a chance this could go to enhanced. Slight risk is a level 2 out of 5. You think level 2 out of 5, you're thinking, man, that's not that big of a deal. But as I've mentioned in previous videos before, a slight risk is a big deal. We've had some huge severe weather events in slight risk, including one actually in my video. I storm chased on Cinco de Mayo, a May 5th storm here in the upstate of North South Carolina. Was my most successful chase ever. It's an upload from May 5th if y'all want to check that out. But anyways, it was a slight risk and ended up being big time hail producer, big time tornado producer here locally in South Carolina. But anyways, a slight risk. So chances are increasing, and this is going to have another day to tweak, another day and a half really. So we're going to get into the GFS here, latest GFS. I just want to show y'all the storm as a whole. I'm not going to talk about the snow much. The snow chances have not changed much really. I do think there's outside chance of some flurries in Atlanta. I still think eastern Tennessee, maybe central to eastern Tennessee, the entire mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee, and obviously all the way up the whole about the eastern half of Ohio, parts of Virginia, and West Virginia have a chance to see a white Christmas. We're going to talk about the severe weather event. So just check out this storm as a whole. This major trough digging. It's been trending a little bit more west, which really just enhances. It affects everything. It affects snow. It affects our severe weather risk. But so here we are. Here's the NAM. What we really need to get into, and we're getting into full range now, and this is the NAM 3KM2. So here it comes. Here comes our line of storms coming up as we're getting into really early overnight tomorrow night into Christmas Eve. So this is Christmas morning. You're starting to get that snow starting to change, rain starting to change the snow in Nashville. And you're going to see the snow in the video. Don't really pay too much attention to this in here. Of course, if you're on the snowy side, obviously you want to, but here it comes. There's a line of storms that look developed here, and then it kind of, as you're getting to the morning hours and overnight, begins to fall apart. But as we start to get more into the day, this line of storms, basically, guys, here in central South Carolina and in places central South Carolina, the Triad in North Carolina, kind of the earlier in the day this moves through, I would say the less intense it is. It looks like the PD of South Carolina, eastern North Carolina, the coastal plains of North Carolina, portions of maybe Norfolk, far northeast Virginia. These are the areas we need to watch out for. You check out these little areas right here beginning. I'm about to show you the CAPE values here too. You have the main push. This is the main front right here. And this is going to be some very strong winds associated with this. But as we get into, I would say this is the 3 or 4 o'clock range in the afternoon, 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon, Christmas Eve, this line really starts to get its act together as it hits some, daytime heating. I'm about to show you some temperatures. Temperatures are going to soar in this area. As you check out right here, they're going to soar. This is right where the front is. They're going to soar into the 60s and 70s right here. This is, if you're having a hard time seeing this, make sure your video is in 720. But check out this front. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper into this here later in the video. But this is getting into the afternoon, Christmas Eve, and temperatures are soaring. I think it'll hit 70 degrees even here in Columbia before the front moves through. But I think this is a little underdone. I think temperatures are going to soar into the 70s here in North Carolina and portions of eastern and the coastal areas of South Carolina. And this is all it's going to do. I don't have humidity or dew point values up here, but dew points are going to rise into the 50s and 60s. That's going to add some juice to the atmosphere. So what we really need to watch out for is the CAPE is going to increase here, and I'll show that right here. Right here, this is kind of the same time frame. So we'll flip here. This isn't much CAPE, but when you have this kind of environment and you add a little bit of CAPE to a high shear environment, it causes in these line of storms quick spin ups. They're not going to be these long lasting supercell type tornadoes where you get an individual cell that has a long duration tornado or anything. But when it comes to the line of storms, you're going to have the potential for quick spin-ups. Now, if you go back and look here, you have almost these individual cells. They're not really individuals, it's a cluster. This is what the CAPE is. When you just look back at that last image, the CAPE was centered right in this area, right? So there's some energy here, along with high shear. So in these little individual storms right here, you're going to have a chance for some spin-ups ahead of the main wind threat, which I think will be associated with the big line here. So this is an area we have to watch before the line comes through. But as we're going through the next frame, we're getting into Christmas Eve evening here, and this line really takes over here, and this is where the tornado threat really increases for eastern North Carolina. See the reds here, but there's going to be embedded spin-ups here that we have to watch. CAPE is steadily increasing as we're getting into that time frame, and it rises big time before the cold front really takes over, almost up to 2,000 CAPE values here in portions of eastern North Carolina. This can be potentially a big deal, and it's going to happen quick too. It's going to be a few hour window when the warm sector is able to rise here, and you're going to get enough energy to fire up something along with whatever energy's left ahead of this front. So it's going to get nasty, I think, in this area right here for sure. But look back here. Look at these flurries starting to skirt through here. Maybe if you're up really late at night when Santa Claus is coming to town here in Atlanta, might have some flurries flying around. Even in Alabama, I'm not going to be surprised at all if even some flurries make it into upstate South Carolina. Definitely try to kind of lose containment outside the mountains. Not going to be surprised at all, but the main threat is going to be a super active weather day, Christmas Eve. I'm going to actually have a hard time focusing, but I'm going to have to because family's first. Christmas, weather's not first, but it is going to be a lot going on Christmas Eve, and there's going to be a real potential to really kind of disturb some people's lives for sure. So we have to watch out for this. And as you can tell, CAPE values are going to be an issue. I didn't see it as much of an issue, say, 2 days ago. But this, mixed in with the fact that we already have a lot of shear, it's going to just really increase. So this is what you call the tornado parameter. Now, I showed you this the last couple videos, and it didn't look that high. But now that you're getting some CAPE mixed in with this high shear, you're adding more and more ingredients for the storm. So as we're moving through right here, the tornado threat is increasing now, and it's going to be a quick couple hours where you're going to have really a high chance of tornadoes late. It's going to be dark. That's what's really going to stink about this, is I think the tornado threat will be highest after the suns went down Christmas Eve. So far eastern North Carolina, I really do think, I'm not going to call it an outbreak, but I think this is going to catch some people off guard, and that's why I'm making this video, so it doesn't. But we need to watch out for this, and then it kind of diminishes So, that's the reason why the tornado threat's increasing, because the cave is increasing. It's trended higher. Now let's talk about the wind threat. So one thing's for sure, and this is getting into the morning hours, we're getting into the afternoon hours of Christmas Eve. Even ahead of the front, the winds are going to be screaming ahead of this front. Screaming as in just super gusty winds really ahead of this front all day Christmas Eve before the storm's going to get here. It's going to be very mild, and it's going to be very windy here in the Carolinas. You're going to notice something's coming because it's just a crazy air mass in place. But as this line, I think here in central South Carolina, Charlotte, Greensboro, let's say Winston-Salem, Greensville, places like this, I think the main threat's going to end up coming from the line associated with the front, and that's what's going to bring some really gusty winds for us. But check out how the wind speeds increase. And you don't like these little areas right here, little nicks kind of, where it's like a blob of heavier wind. It just to me signifies some kind of spin-up activity. This is going to be a kind of a scary situation for eastern North Carolina. We're going to have to watch this because this could really get kind of ugly for your guys. And then the winds shift after the front moves through. You just get breezy, cold conditions for Christmas Eve. But one thing I want to show you, if you lasted this long in the video, I hope you have. I hope you're tuned in because this is a major update here. This is the front. You obviously can tell. Look out here. You obviously can tell this is moving through in the afternoon, which is going to make it even more impressive for us in the Carolinas. Check out the temperatures rising ahead of the front. 60s, almost 70 degrees. 22Z, that's equivalent to about 5 p.m., 6 p.m. or so. So we're in the 60s. We're getting into, say, 7 p.m. It goes from the 60s or 50s to the 40s in a flash. I mean, it's going to happen so quick. And you're going to feel, because if you got a weather station and you're a little bit of a weather geek like me and have a weather station, you're going to want to be checking this out because this is going to be a really cool thing to watch on you guys' weather stations. The drop in dew points, the drop in temperatures. This is going to be a stout cold front, probably the most stout cold front I've seen since Halloween 2019, and I think it might be a little bit more actually impressive. The dynamics of it and things like that. So this is going to be a major event, guys. Tornado threat increasing for the Carolinas, especially eastern Carolinas mainly, but wind threat everywhere else. This is going to be a dynamic storm. So stay tuned, and hopefully this video finds y'all well. Like, share it. I'm trying to get major growth. I'm trying to get this goal of 1,500 subscribers by the end of the year. It was 1,000. Now I'm getting a little greedy, but I just appreciate y'all tuning in. This has been a dream come true for me. So thank y'all, and y'all sleep tight tonight, and God bless all of y'all.